Hi everybody, I'm Gio, and welcome to the epilogue for White Silk Lover. 1 year later, Kobe Blake. I can't believe I'm back here, in my old music classroom, and staring at the upright piano where Tomas and I had sung so long ago. Tomas and I held hands as we walked to the old piano. I touched middle C. It was out of tune. Some things hadn't changed. If I had my tools with me, and an extra hour, I'd tune it. While we're waiting, Tomas said, care to play something? I sat at the piano and stretched my hands out. I hadn't had to use the brace in 9 months, and my fingers almost extended as far as they once had. Since the accident, I had learned to play finger-friendly on every song, even White Silk Lover. If my left hand ever ached, I stopped immediately. I played Whisper, because of all of Tomas's songs, it was still my favorite. Tomas sat next to me, and we sang it together, as we had done many times, both on stage and at home. I think it was his favorite too. Some students wandered in and listened. "Is that?" someone asked. Well, their class was about to start. Several guys took pictures. It didn't matter where we went. We were recognized. We finished Whisper, then I played the new one we were working on. We both sang, once again alternating parts, testing out the melody and the words. Then a guitar joined in. Dr. Garnier was here. Always a rocker. She joined us in an impromptu jam. One final chord, and we rose. It's good to see my favorite lovebirds. I wasn't expecting you back here until the album release party, Dr. Garnier said, setting her guitar down. It's good to see you too, Tomas said, as he hugged her. I hugged her. That was our new song. What did you think? It has an awkward spot in the chorus, but the rest seems to flow, Dr. Garnier said. Class, I'd like to present 2 friends of mine. One is a former student, Kobe Blake, and his husband, Tomas Blake. I'm not quite graduated, I said. I'm behind a semester, so you might see me again. I promise to be extra hard, she said, smiling. I heard a whisper from in back. Dr. Garnier can smile? Do you mean Tomas Blake, as in lead singer of Sterling Lock? Another student said. And my husband Kobe, Tomas said, and he held me and quickly kissed me. A soft ripple of voices flowed through the class, and several people took pictures. Sorry to intrude, Dr. Garnier, I said. We hope to catch you before class started. It's always good to see you, she said. I wanted to bring you this, I said. It's an advance copy of my new book. Well, it's not exactly mine. Monica and I put it together. I held up the book, a hardcover coffee table edition of Sterling Lock, the wedding album. Dr. Garnier took it. Kobe made sure that everybody in the band signed it, Tomas said. It needs one more signature, yours, to be finished, I said, and held out a Sharpie. Care to sign? I'm honored, Dr. Garnier said, taking the pen and signing the cover. Putting the book together was Monica's idea, I said. She suggested it as a way to process what had happened a year ago, and as a way to get even with Sam. You'll need to explain that one, Dr. Garnier said. Even though it officially hits stores next week, Tomas said, advance sales are astronomical. Kobe and Monica have already made the bestseller charts. That's my revenge against Sam, I said. Early reports indicate that our book sold more copies. Why do you think that? A student asked. This book has a lot more pictures, Tomas said. Plus, Sam's plan with the tell-all book backfired. It revived my career and made the band look human. Our last album went platinum because of it, and downloads are in the millions. We now have 4 platinum albums, and the re-release of Whisper and White Silk Lover with both Kobe and I singing each had more than 5 million downloads. Even if you split the advances and royalties in half, Monica and I are both in the millionaire club, I said. They've already started on another book, Tomas said. Sterling Locke, From the Ground Up. That's a working title, I said, but it's better than what the publisher wanted. Which is? A student asked. Sterling Locke Exposed, I said. Dr. Garnier tilted her head. I like it. It's got more of an edge. Now, before you go, can you take a couple of questions? Sure, Tomas said. When's your next album coming out? Someone asked. About 4 months, maybe 5. We're having trouble deciding on a cover, I said. Javier doesn't like the one everybody else does, Tomas said, but our record company likes a completely different one than all of us. They've probably already decided for us. What's your workout routine like? Somebody else asked. Are you still vegan? Someone asked. How does a vegan and a keto live together? Someone else asked. I took those questions. We've started a fitness channel on YouTube that has all the details. Tomas and I agree on one thing, and we have it all the time. Pancakes, Tomas said. Joy poked her head in the door. It's time to go. We have dinner reservations. One last question, Tomas said. What happened to Sam? Another student asked. The judge wasn't very happy with him, I said. I ended up testifying, as did the members of the band. Les didn't testify because of his condition, but his doctor sent all the medical information. Because of what happened to Albert, Javier, and especially Les, it was considered multiple accounts of aggravated assault with a caustic chemical. Add to that everything else he did, the judge gave Sam 10 years with possible parole at 5. The publisher still released his book, Tomas said, but Sam didn't make author appearances or signings or interviews or make the talk circuit like a lot of authors do. He did make a couple of video interviews, I said. Sam made his millions, but between restitution and getting the sock suit off him, he doesn't have as much as he thought he would, Tomas said. Besides, he can't do anything with his riches until he gets out of prison, I said. Do you think you'll see him again? Somebody else asked. Both Tomas and I looked at each other. Joey answered for us. If he does show up, I think Maya will rearrange his face. Then I will. Tomas, Kobe, come on, we're late as it is. We gave Dr. Garnier a hug, then took off. It was time to see Kelly and Conrad and their new baby, our godchild, Blake. Akiko and Perrine had driven down to Vegas to have lunch with all of us. Joy and Albert were there as well. Of course, I paid. I'd gotten my first royalty check. After lunch, Tomas and I were off to San Diego for another cheap date. We had arranged for a week on Platinum. I loved lying on the deck looking at the stars. Tomas often laid beside me. Albert had rented a black shiny BMW, and it stood out in front of the building. Joy ushered us to it. Like always, Tomas and I held hands. We hadn't been fast enough getting away, because a crowd of jumping and screaming girls shouted at us. We kissed and waved, and they went wild. A couple dozen phones took pictures. In the middle of the crowd was one lone guy, jumping up and down and screaming. He yelled at one of his friends, "Did you see that? They waved at me." Tomas leaned in close and whispered to me, "Does he remind you of anybody?" The end. Thank you for sharing White Silk Lover with me. I appreciate it. We'll see you next time. Peace.